Welcome to the podcast where we take a deep dive into the stories behind construction business leaders. We will share how they got started, how they found success, and the lessons learned along the way. I'm your host, Eric Fortenberry. Welcome to Builder Stories. Welcome back, everybody. I am really excited today. I've got some very special guests. We've got Andrew and Ashley Favorite. They are from Lakefront Building and Design, located in Eagleview, Wisconsin. I really appreciate you all coming on today to share your story. I think it'll be really insightful to let others kind of hear how you got started and what it's been like building the business together. So welcome to Builder Stories.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We're surprised to even be on a podcast, so this is exciting.
Awesome. Well, yeah. Why don't you kind of give us a little bit of the background, how'd y'all get into construction in the first place? Tell us a little bit about your business, how you started that, and we'll take it from there.
Sure.
So it really started with me. Ashley was a teacher, so she had nothing to do with it for quite a while. I started, it kind of starts from my dad. My dad was not a builder, but did, built his own house when I was a kid, and numerous building projects that I was a part of. In high school, I was in the building trades program, and I guess, also woodworking classes, so I kind of got into it there, and I guess found a love for it. Worked for a builder in college. I went to college at UW Stout for construction management. And I worked for the builder in college. I started a business with another guy later in college as well. It was just a way of basically having insurance and subcontracting and, working for people. But once I graduated in 2009 with a construction management degree. Not a whole lot of construction happening at that time. I don't know a whole lot of people that got a job got a job right out of college around then. I didn't get any offers. I went back home and just started building, picking up smaller projects. I knew I could get work here, and just it started from there. There was a time period, 1 year, where I worked for another builder, not wearing a pouch, but sitting at a computer doing CAD. Good experience, but I found I couldn't sit in the office for a year straight. So I had to get back out there. And then at that time, I quit that, started Lakefront at that time, which was 2011.
And we got married.
Nice. So was the, kind of what was your first kind of focus? I mean, just kind of really any projects? Is it, full builds, remodels? What, kind of what were those first couple of projects that you got?
I would say smaller projects, whatever it could get. And actually, I wouldn't say I filled up my entire year with my own projects. I would subcontract to other builders, close friends, I guess, and we'd tackle projects together. So, I was working on full builds or remodels or smaller projects.
Like all the parts of a house, but just not like an entire build, start to finish.
Sure.
So.
Yeah. I think our first full build as Lakefront was 2015.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that was what it was.
So Ashley, you were a teacher at the time. When did you join the business? What led to that?
So I taught full time until we had our second child. Then I kind of went down to part time. That was 2014, and I was balancing the checkbook. I was a little involved, but I didn't know what I was doing. Like totally self-taught myself, QuickBooks Desktop, didn't do it very well. Then when we had our third child before, it just got really hard going to work. I was driving really far and asking him to leave work early, and he's trying to operate a business. It doesn't work very well. So we decided I was going to be a stay-at-home mom. And then I started getting a little bit more into the books and like taking more off his plate, and then realizing, oh my gosh, this is like really messy. Like clean this up a bit. So I just kind of did more and more numbers in the books. And then I would say probably maybe 2019, 2020, I started getting more heavy in the numbers, and now I'm a numbers junkie. It's like, I love talking to Penny Lane. But yeah, so that's kind of how I got involved.
That's awesome. So what's like today, what's the business look like? What's the primary focus, types of jobs that you're looking at? Is there anyone else on the team? That type of stuff.
Yeah.
Right now we have four carpenters, as well as myself. I'm out there a decent amount, probably more than I should be.
We're working on that.
So mainly that's because we're struggling with finding just somebody else that can lead, a lead carpenter or foreman, anything like that. We've been looking for a while and just can't find it. So that's where I got to fill in, and that puts me out there a lot.
Sure.
Primarily, we're doing new construction, new homes, with some other smaller remodel or garages that we'll fill in with. So
sure.
This year, for example, 2 new homes, and then I don't know, what would you say, 5?
Yeah.
5 or so small projects. Next year, we'll have 3 new builds, and we're going to pretty much cut out those small projects and just focus on the 3 builds.
Sure. So what would you say is the big difference between doing, a new build versus going in and, doing a remodel or an addition?
Right now, for me, for where we are with personnel, it's easier for me with new homes, because the guys are used to seeing that process. You throw in a remodel, and working on a lot of the remodel stuff around here for us is working on cabins or cottages that have turned into, a 4-season home.
It's been added on to a couple times. It's been in the family for a number of years. We're in a vacation destination, I guess. It's in northern Wisconsin, like tippy top. So they're pretty old, and it's really hard to control the schedule then, because you can't predict you never put enough time in for you block off so much time, it always goes over. So it's tricky.
And so for our employees, it's a challenge too, because there's a lot of things you got to come up with on the fly, or you get thrown a lot of curveballs, and that doesn't, not that I'm a seasoned veteran, but I've worked with this kind of stuff enough to come up with a solution on the fly, where they're not quite as experienced, so that just those projects need me there a lot. And it's just, with a new construction, it's easier for us at this point. If we had that person with my experience or more, and enjoyed that remodeling as well, maybe we'd pursue that a little more.
Yeah. And so I assume you've got kind of a handful of trade partners that you're working with?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We do a lot. I watch a lot of your other podcasts, so it's interesting hearing everybody's background, but we do quite a bit in-house. We do foundations. We do ICF foundations, all the framing, obviously windows, siding, exteriors. We sub out roofing, obviously like electrical, plumbing, HVAC is subbed out. We do all the interior finish work. I'm missing cabinet installation, all that stuff. So there is a lot that we do ourselves. It's interesting seeing how other companies structure it. We're always thinking, like, is there a more efficient way? Should we be subbing out some of the framing? I don't know. But Andrew's very particular.
Yes. So I mean, I'm curious, Andrew. I mean, so it sounds like you've, 2011 started the business. It went several years where it was just you, and you were having to wear all the hats. Is that, what was that like, and kind of what do you think the biggest sort of transition, points were when Ashley joined? Like, what were you most excited to hand off to her, and kind of how have you guys sort of reorganized your roles and responsibilities?
It has been nice that I haven't had to really do any of the bookkeeping, because that doesn't really excite me. I mean, I like to know the numbers, but she's done a much better job than I ever would have with figuring out how to look at the numbers to see if we're profitable or not.
I would say cutting in the earlier years, kind of when it was just him. We had a lot every year. At the end of the year, you're preparing your books for your accountant, and it's like, where is it? Like, it says we made this money, but where did it go? Like, what are we doing here? We're working really hard, and we're just like not getting ahead. There was a lot of that going on, even for a while when I was doing books. But what really helped us, was it 2 summers ago now? 3 summers ago, I can't remember. But we're just also, like, as we scaled our business and grew, and like we're trying to like figure out, like, so we didn't have a sales process. We were just taking calls. I was taking numbers and saying, call this guy. I couldn't carry on a conversation on the phone. But we just got to this point where it was just feeling like we're so unorganized. And I don't know if our clients felt that necessarily, but it was really hard. And we got this email from a business coaching company, Small Business Growth Partners. And it was like, do you feel overwhelmed? Do you feel like your business is running you? And I was like, yes. So we did an assessment with them. And then we ended up, like, it opened our eyes to a lot of systems and processes, and our roles and responsibilities with each other were not clear. So if it's not clear for us, it's certainly not clear to your team. So we have been working with a business coach. It's been fantastic. The best thing we ever did to organize ourselves. Because I could only do so much of my own, like, learning about the numbers. I could not have done all that without the help of a coach. So that's what really made the difference for us.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I hear all the time the impact of hiring a coach or joining some sort of a community of other builders where you can, like, share and learn from each other, because it's like there's no way that, like, you would know what you don't know, and sometimes it just takes that, kind of having somebody or a group of people who have been there and have done it. That's why, again, I put on this podcast, and it's so helpful to be able to kind of learn from others. And, it does, though. It takes, investing in yourself and investing in the business, and really that dedication to go and try to learn and grow those skills that you may not have or that you may not know. Some people just don't realize there's a better way, and so it's, and it sounds like you've been really helpful, to come on, and join Andrew and kind of helping sort of bring some more of the back office, the back end kind of organization, getting all of that, together. And, I got to imagine it's helped you, grow and scale the business. And, I see it all the time. People kind of feel like they're just kind of churning and doing the same thing over and over and over again. But then once you have that realization, it can really help you kind of set yourself up to now, grow the business in a much more scalable manner. And so I'm glad to hear that, joining that coaching program was really helpful for you.
Yeah, super helpful. And it's like, we don't need to be alone in this. Like, there's other people that have figured this stuff out. Like, it seems very vulnerable at first. Like, we're giving them all sorts of information for the assessment. And I'm like, oh, I'm afraid to see what they say about us. But you got to lay it out there to improve. Otherwise, you don't know where to begin. And I remember even getting the results and going through all this stuff. It was like, even starting off with coach, I just felt overwhelmed. Like, how we have so many systems and processes we need in place. Where do you even start? And I would say about a year into it, we really started to feel the traction of and we do quarterly goals, and you're reviewing them all the time. At the end of the first year, it's like, so awesome. Wow, look at all these goals and little action steps we've checked off. And the end of the year, you get you're doing your numbers for your account, and it's like, oh, finally, we're getting stuff where, like, yeah, it feels really good to do that. It's a lot of work though, and it was a monetary investment too. It's kind of like, ooh, I don't know if we should do that, but it's hands down best investment we ever did for our business and our personal lives, because I was going crazy.
Yeah, that's awesome. Can you tell us a little bit more about, like, what were some of those goals? Like, what are your, the quarterly goals? I mean, I think that sounds like a great idea. What were some of maybe the first ones getting in, and then what do they look like today?
Yeah. A lot of like systems and processes work. One of the first processes we nailed down, I think, was sales process. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, just getting that, just see like, what do we do? What are the steps from the first contact, reach out, call, email, to we're digging a hole? What happens? And now it's wonderful. Like, I can do all those initial calls. I do all the discovery calls. Andrew doesn't even have to talk with them until he's going out there to do a site consultation. And we can, figure out who's serious when they're calling, like who is really wanting to do this. And if we're the right fit, there's certainly, obviously our niche is more new custom home construction, and I can kind of feel people out and see where they're going and qualify jobs, and that saves his time a lot, because it literally used to be, here's a post-it, the name and the number. I don't know what they want, but you call them.
And then you go to the site and talk to the people, and I don't know, I'm not going to say every one of them is a waste of time, but some of them are just, you didn't really even have to go out there to say, yeah, this isn't a fit.
With the post-it.
Or your budget idea is not even close, or anything like that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. We talk about budget up front, and like, I have a whole list of questions I go through, and and I feel like in the beginning it was kind of scary. Like, we set up the sales process, and like, okay, I think I can do this. And the first few phone calls, I stumbled a little bit, but I don't know, you get better each time you do it. So when you make notes for yourself, okay, I'm gonna do this better next time, and I think we got that down pretty well. So
that's great. What are there? You sounds like you've really kind of honed in on what your target customer is, and sort of the type of jobs and what you're looking to take on. I mean, are there when you're doing those kind of those pre-qualification calls, I mean, what are there red flags? Are there things that sort of like immediately like tell you this isn't a good fit? How have you sort of refined that target customer and job profile there?
Yeah, I think our target customer is more somebody approaching retirement, or maybe they are retired, or they're pretty well established. Not, I think we're more in their budget range. We're like I don't know if you'd call it like a boutique builder. Like, we only do 3 homes a year. It's very custom, and we can't compete with, some of the other builders doing more kind of semi-custom or production. So, sure. Just really knowing our audience, who we're better fit for. Red flags would be like, okay, let me back up. We're also really great, like just somebody who hasn't done this before, they need some help. They're worried about the process. Like, just let us guide you. We'll take care of it. We have a very, like our design process and selections process is very step-by-step and methodical, like kind of puts people at ease. So I would say the red flags would be more the people who want to manage some part themselves, or they know some guys that can do this, or like we work with our same trade partners because we know we work well together. And so like I'll get a red flag when I hear people say, well, I got this excavator buddy who could do this, or I got this. So what else would be, I don't know, or, sometimes you get somebody that calls that's, getting a lot of different quotes, and I don't know if I understand it's a large purchase. They want to make sure they're making the right decision, but you also got to think, how likely is it that this person's serious with us? So
sure.
Yeah.
And where like, what do you, from a marketing standpoint, where are your leads coming from? How are these people finding out about you?
Yeah. Website. And it's so funny because if people go look at our website now, it was totally homemade by me. We're in the process of working with a company, and we should be having our new launch in, I think, about a month. They're working on next steps, so I'm really excited about that. But yeah, this year we decided to invest in the website because we are getting most of our leads there at this point. It used to be more word of mouth, I would say.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of website, and we've been doing more with social media. And recently we started working with a virtual assistant to kind of help with that stuff, because I'm getting to the point where I can't do it all either. I wasn't doing it because I'm like, I don't have time for all these posts, and like I can take the pictures, but I need some help. So we work out of our home office here, so it's not really a great time to hire an office assistant. We're working on a shop and an office build. You can talk about that in a minute.
Good.
But so yeah, the virtual assistant is kind of my step to getting some help right now, and then maybe down the road I can have some more assistance in the office with marketing. But it is really, we've started really hard with the Facebook and Instagram. I'd say May, June-ish, getting more organized with that, and I have help, and I am blown away by how many people they go on our website, they read all of our blog posts, which aren't that many because we just started doing that too. But then they go on our Facebook, they call me and they've read everything. Like, I'm like, wow, you have done your homework.
That's awesome, right? When they're a lot more, they've educated themselves on who you are.
Right.
Probably makes those conversations a lot easier.
It does. I had the budget discussion on a call yesterday, and he already read our blog post on, kind of some budget numbers, square foot averages, and I was like, this is great. Like, it's making my job easier. So
yeah, that's awesome.
No surprises then.
Right.
They've already read it and checked it out, and
yeah. So
yeah, that's great. So are you publishing, content regularly on the blog?
Yeah, we're just doing one blog post a month right now, and I have so many ideas. I almost think we could do two. But I'm sure there are other companies that do way more. But I'm doing, I actually got this idea at JobTread, the Connects conference. I talked with, who was it? Builder Funnel. They had their book out or whatever they were giving away. So I was reading that, and wow, I didn't realize how useful blogs could be because they help you do your job. So I have all these ideas I want to use it for, education before somebody calls, but also during our selections process, I have plans for like all kinds of blog posts, like different trim styles and tile patterning, like just things I can put out there, and then I can just share the link to the customer. They can read about all different options in a pretty blog post. And so I really want to expand on that.
That's great. I could not agree with investing in marketing your website. I mean, that is truly the face of your company. And when you can use it to help educate others, I mean, it not only brings people to you, but it makes those next steps a whole lot smoother, where you can really focus on, what are their needs and their wants. And they've already kind of, learned a little bit about what is it like to go through a build process. What is this company, going to be like to work with? What's that experience? One other book I would throw out there for you, and probably one of my favorite books of a long time, is Marcus Sheridan's They Ask, You Answer. And it's all about, really figuring out like what are all of the most common questions that you get asked, by your customers and your prospects, and like, what can you, answer? What can you put out there? Even if it's things that, you may think might, sort of turn people away, like just like being like, real and transparent and providing that knowledge, it can be really beneficial, to educate your customers. And the more that they learn, from you, that makes them want to work with you even more. And so, it's just a great way to come up with a bunch of ideas for content. And, I think, just like you said earlier, you've already seen the benefits of finding a marketing partner, someone to help, do your website. You've got a virtual assistant to help with the social media. I mean, some of that, the blog and the content strategy, again, if you don't necessarily have the time to do it, ChatGPT and AI can be a great way to draft up a whole lot of content. But, again, those virtual, assistants, the marketing company, I definitely would encourage you to keep, kind of publishing regularly and maybe even a little more regularly than once a month if that's in the cards for you, because it's such a great way to keep getting more information out there, which will in turn, help bring more and more people to you. And then you get to be even more selective about who you want to move forward with. Because, if you're only going to pick, three builds a year, like you really, want to make sure you're picking the right people and, gonna go into that process with somebody you want to work with for several months.
Right. I'd say that's another part too, is making sure we're the client and we're all a good fit with each other, because it's kind of like being married to them for several years.
Yeah.
What is it like? I mean, it's in 2 years, but right now we're booking until 27. So we're working on pre-construction during that whole time. And then it's a 10-month build, like that's almost 3 years. And then we have a 2-year warranty and we check in. I mean, we're talking to these people for 5 years. So
yeah,
it's very important to make sure they're the right fit. And I would say we've had really awesome clients. We've had really great clients.
So how much work do you do like upfront, kind of in that qualification process, the kind of pre-contract? I mean, like at what point do you come in and want to get some skin in the game from the customer?
So there's an initial discovery call, and then a site consultation where Andrew goes out. That's complimentary. I know some people charge, but that's how we do it. And then they have some questionnaires to fill out, some pre-design to get us a feel for like finish level of their house and kind of what they're thinking for design. And when they turn that in, we schedule a budget meeting where we sit down and we talk feasibility, very rough numbers, and determine like, is this something we want to move forward into design with or not? And that's kind of the point where we have a pre-construction agreement that includes design services, also selections. We have them meet with our vendors and I work with them. We try to select as many finishes up front as possible. The goal would be 100%, but it's not always possible, but we try really hard. That's what's probably we've changed a lot in the last, 3-4 years. But we used to just do a lot of allowances, and no matter what you put in, like everybody's like, oh yeah, middle of the road cabinets, or they always took more expensive stuff. So it was just like change order after change order after change order. So it just, and you feel bad constantly coming back like, oh, it's more. So yeah. We have gotten into this like selections up front, and they can change their mind later, and they know then that's going to be a change order because this is what I selected. And it helps us provide more accurate contract numbers. So when they are signing the contract, it's, pretty close to this is how much it's going to be. There's always going to be some things that change. Like when you're doing the electrical walkthrough and, well, could we put a few extra dimmers here? Or, yeah, we need more outlets here, or, things like that. But so our pre-construction service agreement includes design, selection services, and then we put together this giant proposal through John Trent, and we present it all. So at that point, with that pre-construction agreement, the costs are due up front, and that carries us through that pre-construction. So they do have a little skin in the game, and it's like a mini contract.
Yeah, that's great. I'm curious. We've kind of talked a lot about sort of the marketing and the sales process. That sounds like that was kind of a big initiative and a goal for you up front. What are some of your other goals that you all set for yourselves and for the business?
Maybe more construction, streamlining, communication, team meetings. You know what I'm talking about? You should have seen our first team meeting was so awkward. We had no team meetings. Like, we didn't know. People just went to work. They texted Andrew the night before, "Are we still at this job? Okay, we'll see you there." So, yeah, like, I would say just that construction process. So our mission statement is to provide the best building experience. And that's for everybody. And because we felt like that needed, that's got to be our focus. There was a long time where we probably didn't. And this is for client, team members, our carpenter crew, and our trade partners, like everybody. We want people to like working for us, working with us. We want everybody to love it. So the team aspect, did you want to say something?
No, you got it.
I got it. Okay.
I mean, Ashley, you've shared with me some of your schedules, and I've been like very impressed at kind of the detail that you've built out and how organized it is. I mean, how have you seen that make an impact on the construction process and really, I mean, it sounds like on the team as a whole. I mean, how's that changed the business for you?
So that build out is it's great for communicating with trades, like update. We always make sure we do not notify people all the time, because that would probably be really annoying. But when we're ready to like let's say we have to slide everything like 2 weeks or something, like once we get closer to starting, we kind of make final adjustments, and then we can send out and notify everybody. It's wonderful. And the people are actually commenting on it because it's so easy for them to reply. Just by replying to the email, it automatically puts it in the comments. So the schedule has been great with our trades for communicating. Our team, we still, they can see it, but like there's ours are big chunks. Like Lakefront crew framing will be like however many weeks. And then Andrew, we have a separate like crew calendar now that he sets every Friday morning. He and I meet, kind of see where things are at, and then he puts out a Google calendar for the next week. In a crew calendar in Google, just like, here's the exact tasks we need you to accomplish in the next 5 days. So it's very clear. We never had that before. So that's been huge. And
do you guys do like in-person team meetings?
Yep. So once a month. Yeah. Once a month they come here and we have some snacks, some good food, and we have an agenda set out. We're trying to be structured now, like celebrations, like things to talk about. We do an update overall, like just letting everybody know kind of what's coming for the rest of the year. So they kind of know where the train is headed, not just showing up blind for work. They can see all the work that we've got coming. And then we do some sort of topic focus, could be one of our core values. Something's always tied to one of the core values. We'll show kind of like where we're at for hours, like job A framing, we estimated this many hours. We're here so far, okay, we need to wrap this up so we can meet our goals. Like, that's been something we're trying to do. So they know, like, oh, what's the target here?
Yeah, I love the transparency, man. I really do think that, like, if people don't know, where you're at and what your goals are and like what we're shooting for, then, there's really no way that they can hit those targets, but when you can kind of just bring them together and like, just again, be very transparent, like, guys, here's where we're at, here's where we need to be, or, we're ahead of schedule. This is awesome. Great job. Like, I think kind of having those regular sort of check-ins is a really great way to keep people feeling involved and motivated and realizing that they're making an impact, on the progress and on the job. So I think that's a great move.
Yeah, I think it was really awkward at first doing team meetings. I remember our first one. It was so awkward, but like they do. I think we all find it valuable. I always feel really uplifted after each one. And it used to be like, how are we going to have enough to talk about once every month? Like, we did this one, aren't we good for like 3 or 4 months now? But there's always like little housekeeping things too. Like, it's just nice. Everybody's here. We can take care of any paperwork or quick little, hey, remember to get your time cards and job tread on time. So that type.
Do you ever do any, like, I see a lot of people that will kind of incorporate, some sort of a skill-based training or a safety training, or just, kind of maybe some new techniques or maybe new equipment that you might have gotten, like kind of incorporating that into the team meetings?
I would say so far it's really, a lot of it has been job tread stuff, more like the clacking, and especially initially clacking in when we first switched, there were always questions, so I feel like job tread was on the agenda a lot. But you kind of do more of that other stuff. The safety is more as needed on the job.
Yeah, we don't really do anything like you said, like techniques or safety training or anything like that. Probably would be good to do that occasionally. A lot of that's just on the job.
Sure. I've seen too, a lot of people will actually invite like some of their vendors to come in and, maybe showcase, some of the new products, or, just different installation techniques, or, kind of different stuff like that. And then usually you can also get them to, hey, you want to also provide the breakfast or the lunch for the team. And, they're happy to do it, but that kind of just helps sort of, build that camaraderie with the vendors, with your guys, the company. So it's maybe another thing to sort of just spice it up a little bit, see if someone wants to come out and kind of do a little training session for you.
We do try to, so we're part of the local builders association. Yeah. And so we'll take people to, a couple of the events that they have, like Christmas party and golf outing that we just had. So we invite everybody to come to that, even the membership meeting sometimes, just because there's a dinner,
socializing.
So there they get to meet some of the suppliers, or other builders, or just other members. I'm starting to see that where they'd start to build a relationship with the window guy or something like that. And it's kind of neat to see. It's, that relationship isn't just for me and the window salesman. They like to associate with them too. So, and get some of the free apparel.
Yeah. Everyone loves some free stuff, right?
Yeah.
So Andrew, you talked earlier about, maybe at some point kind of the goal is to sort of get yourself out of the field a little bit more. What are your thoughts on that? How it sounds like you're kind of doing a lot of the sort of the project management, but you may also still have to put the tool belt on every once in a while. Is that, kind of the goal is to phase out of that, or is that something you want to always be involved in?
That's the discussion that we have all the time, but I don't know that I could be in the office all the time. So I do like being out there and building stuff. It's rewarding. Sitting in the office is not as rewarding to me. So I would just like to have the flexibility to be there or not be there.
Sure.
And right now I don't really have that flexibility. It kind of depends on the tasks that we're doing right now, whether or not I can get away and do some office work. So,
So are you guys just actively, kind of looking to see, who else you might be able to hire that, if you come across the right person that, maybe that's, kind of opportunistically you would move down that path?
We've tried a lot of recruitment strategies. So where we live is extremely rural. There is it 1,600 people in our, maybe 1,650. I mean, it gets more populated in the summer with vacationers, but it is really hard. And there is a lot of building still going on and not as much labor. I know a few larger builders have retired, so that makes it even harder. So there's a high demand and not enough labor available.
Yeah, even when you hire a recruitment agency to track somebody down,
We didn't try.
Oh, it's no problem. Yeah, it didn't even amount to anything good. So,
Have you called those? You said some of the builders have retired, recently. I mean, have you called them and said, "Hey, do you know anybody that that may be looking for work?"
Yeah, I feel like so we've done a lot of advertising. We did a lot of Indeed. We did the recruitment. We've done the best thing maybe was flyers. Old fashioned, like just put them up, newspaper. Yeah, it's really, really tough. A lot of folks want to do subcontracting too, and we're looking to hire a full-time employee. Like we need a lead carpenter to lead our team. So that has been tricky. And there's a lot of rules in the state of Wisconsin with subcontracting, and we're kind of rule followers. So I feel like that doesn't give us a good advantage. So yeah, we really need to hire an employee, and it's
Sure
tough. So
one thing I would recommend as you're working on your website is make sure you've got a careers page and you've listed every possible position you may want to hire now or in the future, because over time, again, as that content gets indexed by Google, and really making sure you've kind of those careers pages, they've been kind of focused on the local Eagle River, Wisconsin. So when people are searching for a job or for carpentry in this area, hopefully that content will start coming up, because you never know when someone's going to stumble across you.
Yeah.
I would also encourage you to maybe, create a post or content around, what's it like to work, with you all at, at Lakefront Building and Design, like, creating some YouTube videos, some things that, again, it just like the more content, like if that's like a big focus and you really want to find, some people, it just kind of, planting those seeds and just making sure it's always out there, I think is a good strategy, because you never know when someone may stumble across it, and, or even, people who know people, we at Job Tread, we're always kind of sharing, hey, these are the positions we're looking for. If you know someone, please share it. We really love, when people are, referred in, versus even just that cold, person that finds us. But, Andrew, you came from, UW Stout, you had a construction management degree. Maybe even posting on, some of the other kind of local universities. Somebody who's got that construction management experience when they graduate, maybe they're willing to come on and learn, under you for a while, but they could be a great person that you could train up to eventually at some point, take on a little bit more of a leadership role. But I know it's tough. Finding the right people is probably one of the hardest things that, it's just so important, and I would encourage you, don't just settle. Even if you do find a couple people coming in, like, it's so important that you get the right people on the team, and not, one bad apple can spoil the apple cart for everyone. So
I would very much agree with that. And I think this time we've had some applicants, but we're looking for the exact right fit, especially a leadership role. It's got it very, very important. So, and our team's very important to us. So I want it to be the best it can be. Yeah.
So I'm curious, y'all, husband and wife, both involved every day, full time with the business. What's it like, living together, being married and being business partners? How does that work out, and how do you manage that?
It is so busy, like with 4 kids too. Throw that in the mix, home office, like.
Well, the term roller coaster has been used a few times.
So I always say, I feel like, you have a really good day and you feel like you're killing it. Like man, this is working out. We had a great team meeting. Like, woo, like, that's great. Like, we are just doing it. And then, like, the next week, something else happens. You're like, oh my gosh, that's terrible. That's woo. So, I mean, I think that's just the nature of being a business owner, entrepreneur. It's challenging, and you don't stop thinking about it. So Andrew is really great at putting work aside and like, no, today we're just hanging out at home and it's Sunday. We're not going to think about it. We do that tomorrow. I am not great at that. So I'm very thankful that he reminds me of that.
I am not great at it either. My wife would say you're always thinking about work, like, be more present, and I'm actively working on it, but it's definitely a challenge. And I think you're right though. I mean, the life of an entrepreneur, it's a roller coaster. I mean, you got your ups and you got your downs. I always encourage people just be thankful that, those downs there always is, you always pull back up, and they make those highs even better. When you go from a tough spot to like, oh man, all right, we pulled out, now we're back on top, where things are going good again. It's like you just got to remember that's just kind of the journey, and you can't let any one thing kind of just beat you down too much. You just got to keep going, and every day is a new day, and we'll figure it out.
Keep doing the next thing, the next step. Like, what do you need to do next? And just don't give up. Yeah. I'm so cliche, but it's so true.
What's the long-term vision here? I mean, where do you all want to take Lakefront, and what do you guys think for the next 3, 4, 5 years? How far out have you thought about this business? Are you setting it up for something that maybe one of your children takes over, or do you want to sell it? Do you want to is it a lifestyle business for you? Kind of what are the longer term visions and goals here?
It'd be
we're doing the shop.
Yeah, we're building a shop and an office right now, so we can have our old location. I don't know that I necessarily want to grow to a larger scale, but we'll see where that goes. I think that is just kind of determined by the personnel, the team that we have. It's hard for us to do more right now, so we're just content with what we can handle right now. Years down the road, it'd be great if it'd be great if any one of the kids would want to take it over or be involved in it. You never know how that's going to work out, but I think
currently Reagan wants to do interior design, so there'll be a design division. Our daughter wants to go into.
Nice.
We'll see.
She's 11. We'll see. Yeah. So I don't know that the construction company is really sellable. I mean, some can be, but it'd be a hard sell. So I don't know that that'll happen in the future. It'd be a good transition for one of the little favorites to take it over.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you're building a great business. You're comfortable with kind of where it's at. I guess it's must be financially providing for the family, and I think that's always a great option. I mean, it's a lifestyle business, and when you can live and work for yourself, and sounds like maybe have a little bit more flexibility one day to go out on the job site or not. It kind of gives you a little bit more freedom there, but it sounds like you guys have really figured out something that works well for you and for the family. Obviously adding a shop sounds like an exciting thing. Do you see that being, where kind of you're just kind of working on, key pieces, or is that maybe also going to be, like a showroom, or, bringing in some of the interior design elements to it?
Yeah, I think the office, we kind of like a showroom. Like I collect samples of all the things, and I work with people with selections that way. So there are some places where they're like the flooring, they're going to always have to go there and check it out. But we would like it to be somewhat of a showroom. And right now we meet clients like at our kitchen table, which, it's okay. But, it would be really nice to have that conference room and be doing our client meetings there,
Sure.
team meetings. So yeah.
What would you say have been some of the biggest challenges for you all to either create the business or to to kind of keep building it how you have?
Biggest challenge.
I think a lot of the challenges, like where we were at the point when we joined the business coaching network, just knowing it just grew, and it was like this thing that was leading us, and it's great, what a blessing, but we didn't know what to do with it. So, because we didn't have systems and processes, I think that was for us, like just getting started with it. Now it's like, okay, we see a direction. We don't kind of see it. We know where things are heading now, but not knowing what to do. Everything looks like it needs to be fixed. Where do you begin?
Yeah.
Do you agree? Is there something different?
Yeah, that was pretty challenging at that time.
Ooh.
Not really knowing. Just trying to, I don't know, it was more playing catch up than being ahead of it.
Reacting rather than leading, like sales and construction and
Yeah.
Sure. Is there any, obviously it sounds like, you would advise others to, really focus on their systems, processes, any other advice that you might want to share with others for, who may be thinking about starting their own building company, or maybe they recently started it, any other general advice?
I would highly recommend a business coach for anybody starting off. And like, you're going to look at the price and you're going to say, oh, I can't afford that. But I will say we have not missed it, because we've tightened things up. We've gotten better with our estimating. Like, we were bleeding up like in many areas that we didn't even know. Like, we know the actual true costs of these jobs now. And especially with Job Tread, not just giving you a shameless plug, like it really has helped a lot to like open our eyes to all the costs. And we didn't know, but it was worth every penny. It still is. And just don't get, my other advice, we were talking about this before hopping on, just don't get frustrated like it's a roller coaster. Like, it wasn't even too long ago. We're always trying to refine our estimating processes and like different things. We're always trying to get better, because we are not there. We've not reached top by any means. But Andrew and I were riding in the car talking about all this, and I'm like, I have an idea. This is it. This is what we need to do. And he's like, when do we reach the top, Ashley? Like, always like, no, I figured it out this time. This is what we do. So it's just you just try to enjoy the roller coaster ride. Yeah.
I mean, it's like it's that goalpost that's always moving, right? And it just you never get to that top of the mountain. I'm not sure it even exists, but it's I think you're absolutely right. I mean, it's all about learning to appreciate the journey and just realizing. I mean, this is not just a job. It's not just your company. I mean, it's your life. And you really got to enjoy that journey that you're on. And I think once people kind of, sort of come to recognize that, it's not going to be easy, you're going to have ups, you're going to have downs, but like, if this was easy, then everybody would do it. And that's just not the case, and I think it is those challenges that makes it that much more rewarding, when you can kind of work through whatever situations come, come at you, and then being able to deliver that, that product at the end of the day to those, to those homeowners, to those customers who, you're creating a life-changing thing for them, and this is something that like every single day, so even if it was tough for you, throughout the process and for those, short couple months, for them, like this is like years of their life that they will be able to live. And so, I think you always got to just remember to see the forest from the trees and, understand that, it's, being an entrepreneur is not meant to be easy. It's not for the faint of heart, but, I think when people kind of come to grips with that, you can really just enjoy that journey that much more. And, it sounds like, you all have really built a, very, very neat company and a lifestyle for yourselves that, it keeps you all happy, engaged, working together. I always love seeing that, and I can't wait to see all of the success that you have in the future years. Ashley, you've been a tremendous, resource and contributor, within the job trade community. We very much appreciate that. I think you might have been one of the first people that you literally just shared all your templates, your budget templates, your schedule templates. You're just like, hey, this can help anybody else out there. And I mean, I can't tell you, the number of people that are like, yeah, this Ashley person, she just gave me everything. And it's like been so huge, and so I really appreciate you and your involvement and just helping other people out, because, at the end of the day, I think that it is, it's something that, we can all help each other. And, I'm just so grateful that you all were willing, to come on and share your story. And I know you're surprised, like, well, we're just a small little builder in Eagle, River, Wisconsin, but you all are going through it right now. Like, this is, you've shared like some of the challenges, and, for Andrew to, kind of be a solo owner operator, having to wear all the hats, to, finding a great partner to come on and help him and take the business to the next level. Your impact has been very apparent. And so, I encourage others who may be in Andrew's, situation right now, think about, is there somebody that you could bring on? Maybe it's a spouse, maybe not, maybe it's just another, partner, somebody out there who could complement your skill set and again, take off some of the weight on your shoulders, because you don't have to go at this alone, and again, just lastly, finding that community, that tribe of people, whether it's a coaching group, whether it's just some sort of social community, a local, builders group, go get involved, go find people, surround yourself with like-minded people who have been there, who have done that, who are doing it right now. And I think that can just be a great resource for everyone. And yeah, I'm excited for you too. You've done a great job. I've followed along on some of your projects, and you guys are really, leading by example. And, I encourage you to just keep at it, keep doing what you're doing, because, it's working. And I can't wait to, see you guys again at Job Trade Connect in January. Very excited for that. And, just again, want to thank you for sharing everything.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us on. This is, it's been fun. So we enjoy the podcast too. It's really neat what you're doing. So thank you so much. And the Job Trade Pros community Facebook group, awesome. So helpful. And we're registered for Connect. I registered last night. So we are
awesome,
excited to attend and, network with more people.
Awesome. I look forward to seeing you there. Thank you all.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of Builder Stories. We hope you enjoyed the conversation and gained valuable insights that can help you in your journey along the way. Don't forget to subscribe to the show and leave us a review. And as always, if you or someone you know has a story to share, please contact us at builderstories.com. We'd love to hear from you. I'm Eric Fortenberry, and remember, every builder has a unique story. Keep building yours.